Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing a GeForce RTX 5060 8GB GPU in GTA 5 Enhanced Edition with Ray Tracing. This one is the Gigabyte WindForce 2 version of the card. I'm running it with the latest Nvidia drivers. You can see all of its specs here in Tech Power Apps GPU Z, and over on the left, I'm pairing it with a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D and 32GB of RAM. This is overkill for a 5060, but you'll get the same FPS if you pair it with like a Ryzen 5 7600 instead, which is a $200 CPU. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's go for the settings first. I'm starting at 1080p resolution. We're also going to test higher resolutions in this video as usual, and I'm using the maximum settings to start this off, okay? Including ray tracing with the high resolution ray trace reflections enabled and the second ray traced global illumination bounce enabled as well, which is very intensive. DLSS is set to DLAA. This is DLSS4 and it works really well as the anti-aliasing, and everything else is set to the maximum aside from motion blur, which, well, it's motion blur. Let's get into it, okay? And as you can see, the game is looking quite good. I got a new car for this video, by the way. Look at this. Beautiful stuff, super shiny and reflective, right? We can see all of the ray tracing going on right there. Very beautiful indeed. And I think we should actually try to make it rain. Oh, 69 FPS, look at that. Perfect. This not only has 69 FPS, or around that sometimes, but it also has a 69 in that license plate, guys. Look at how crazy. Like, I was just playing the game and I came across this car and I thought, yeah, this is absolutely perfect to include in the next video. Anyway, guys, you can see that we're getting 70-something FPS here while it's not raining. If I make it rain, however, things go up, at least with this weather right now, into the 80s. So with weather changes, the performance can change by a whole lot, as you can see here. But the one that I'm most interested in is this one, because this, the clearing weather, is the most intensive weather in the game, and it drops things down to almost 69. Okay, it actually touched 69 there. But this is how I'm gonna be playing this game from now on, at least for the first part of the video, alright, until I get tired of the boring UK weather, basically. Although the UK weather these days is a whole lot different from what you guys have been telling me. It's like 40 degrees sometimes there and clear skies. Kind of crazy. As you can see, it's performing quite decently. I think it doesn't have too much headroom in terms of FPS to achieve 60 plus 100% of the time, which is a little bit of a shame coming from an RTX 5060, you know. It's the latest offering from Nvidia at $300. I would expect it to max out a game like GTA 5 with ray tracing, you know, even with ray tracing, at 60 plus FPS the entire time, since this game is old, although the ray tracing, of course, is intensive. But it's an RTX GPU, and it's already what, 4th generation of RTX cards? But hey, so far it's performing decently, but over here in Jack's Hill, we're starting to drop into the low 60s. That second ray traced bounce, lighting bounce, is actually really intensive, and disabling that should make it 60 plus 100% of the time. Hi Jack, how you going, buddy? How's it going? Do you like my new car? He told us yes, of course. And he also told us that he loves us. Oh my god, I can't drive like this. Okay. I'm not sure if it's because of the rain, but this is quite slippery right now, and I'm not enjoying it too much. Let's go. All right, extra sunny weather now. More shadow detail right now going on. 48 FPS, 50s. Yeah, it drops by a lot. Well, basically you can get 60 plus FPS all of the time at 1080p maximum settings inside of the city area, but if you go outside of there and go into Bob's bushes especially, things can drop by quite a lot. Is that the end of the world, as I usually say? Not really. You know, it's still playable, obviously. It's just a little bit of a slowdown here and there. It doesn't even matter to a lot of people, so it's still okay performance if you want the maximum settings, but I think there's a better experience to be had, you know, in this title, and that is if you don't drive like me. Yeah, that's also going to be a better experience. But that is like very high RT settings while keeping those high-resolution ray tracer reflections enabled, because those make a huge difference in this game. Those look really, really good. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do next, guys. Instead of going to 1440p resolution or quality DLSS, well, I guess I could utilize quality DLSS for you to take a look at it real quick here. All right. So quality DLSS4 is what we're utilizing at the moment. Those ray tracer reflections are a bit lower in quality, more fuzzy, you know. I kind of feel like FSR4 looks a little bit better in this game than DLSS4 does. It's probably the only title where I can say that, but the reflections, the quality of the reflections does suffer a lot here with quality DLSS enabled. It's a heck of a lot better than what it used to be before the high-resolution ray trace reflections update, but it still messes up your reflections a little bit here at 1080p resolution. That's not going to be the case at 1440p and 4K, but at 1080p, it leaves something to be desired compared to DLAA, and that's why I would choose to play with DLAA. Aside from the reflections, though, the rest of the picture quality is really good with quality DLSS. I can see a bit more shimmering on the grass sometimes, but it's very minor. It's incredible that the game is running at 720p and being upscaled to 1080p at the moment while looking this good. And obviously, guys, now that we have quality DLSS enabled, if this is the route you want to take, you know, you can do quality DLSS and stay above 60 FPS the entire time without dropping into the 40s or without the fear that it will drop into the 50s or 40s. Even inside of bushes like this, it only drops into the 70s. So this is a way to play the game. I wouldn't choose to play like this because very high ray tracing settings look very similar to what we're using at the moment. So anyway, if we used, for example, maximum RT settings. Remember, I was playing with the maximum settings, not the preset maximum RT, all right? Because this actually disables the second ray trace global illumination bounce. Because maximum RT, for some reason, isn't actually maximum RT. But let's go one step down from maximum RT to very high RT and keep the high resolution ray tracer reflections enabled. This is very important, all right? Don't just set the very high RT preset because that looks terrible in terms of reflections. Enable that, and then it's going to look really, really good. Let's go back to DLAA here for that native resolution look, and I leave everything as is with the preset here. And we're back into clearing weather situation, so this light rain isn't really that light, is it? I'm not sure how this is clearing weather, but okay. Let's start counting our FPS. This is with DLAA, so no DLSS quality anymore. We still have very high resolution reflections going on here. That's super nice to see, and we're keeping it up into the 100s while cruising through the city. Look at this. Super buttery smooth right now. All it took was a little settings preset drop coming from the maximum settings. Well, not the preset drop because we were actually using... Anyway, you got the idea, right? Let's keep on... Oh my god. Okay, you know what? Let's turtle this up. Fix the car, okay, because I really like this car, and let's keep on going here. Now, one thing that I'm not liking is the ghosting. You can definitely see some ghosting on the back of the car, right there, you know, it's duplicating some of the things there, and that's something due to DLSS4. We're using DLAA is also using DLSS4, of course. So, the algorithm, I'm not sure what's going on here with this game. It does have a ton of ghosting and they still haven't fixed it, unfortunately. I really hope to see it fixed in a future update because it needs it. FSR4, for example, doesn't have ghosting, or if it does, it's super minimal. This one is really noticeable. To me, by the way, with this type of car, it's not really that noticeable, because on maximum settings, I didn't even notice the ghosting, honestly, with this particular car. I'm just talking about it now because I remembered that it is indeed there, and yes, it's still very noticeable. Okay, they haven't fixed it yet. Okay, so we already saw Jack. This is actually clearing weather at the moment. Okay, because the rain is kind of stopping and the sun is coming back. Anyway, dropping down over here into the Bob's bushes, we can see it. in the 80s. I guess like 70s. High 70s is going to be the lowest that it will drop to. So way smoother experience compared 77 1% lows to the 48 before. This is way better. It's a way smoother experience. It is actually a high refresh rate one as well while you are driving through the city. And also when you are going through bushes, you can tell the difference between 60 FPS and 77 FPS easily on a high refresh rate panel. 77 will definitely feel quite a lot smoother. Pretty stable, pretty smooth, pretty good looking as well with that high resolution ray trace reflection setting enabled. No problems whatsoever. I would recommend you to play like this if you have an RTX 5060, but honestly I can't recommend the card itself. So please don't buy the 5060. It only has 8 GB, and although it's not a problem in this particular title for 1080p gaming, it will be in many other games, like I've shown in the full review of the 5060. Anyway, let's stop it right there, guys, and let's try it at 1440p resolution next. Alright, here we go. We're at 2560 by 1440 resolution using DLAA still, the very high ray tracing settings with those high resolution ray traced reflections enabled as well. And down here we're getting 60-ish frames per second on the road, which means that it will definitely drop quite a lot of FPS when we are in Bob's Bushes and Jack's Hill as well, unfortunately. But we might actually get 69 FPS average, so not all things are bad about this performance that we're seeing here. But look at those reflections on the back of the car, though. Those are just awesome, and those are accurate as well because of ray tracing. That's the good thing about having this ray tracing feature here in the GTA 5 Enhanced. Obviously it eats away a ton of FPS, and if you were utilizing or playing the legacy version of the game instead of the enhanced version, the game would still look like GTA 5. Obviously it would still look good. The reflections would take a big hit, of course, in terms of visual fidelity. Why you? Oh God, you. Okay, stop it. And he continues. And he continues. You're getting rid of him. We need to get rid of him. There we go. Yes, the legacy version still looks very good, and it's actually sharper as well because it has MSAA as an anti-aliasing that you can utilize. This is DLAA, although it's really sharp here at 1440p. MSAA 4 times, at least in my opinion, even 2 times looks better than that. But yeah, in terms of the visuals in the legacy version, it's still going to look pretty, and it will perform a heck of a lot better because of the lack of ray tracing. Of course, this is probably a beyond diminishing returns technology in terms of visuals, and I hate when developers introduce it into their games and it's mandatory as well. You can't disable it. At least here you can disable it, and it's not an intensive one, or it's not an intensive implementation of ray tracing where, oh my god, I'm sorry, Jack. He's fine though, he's just sleeping. See that? He's running away just fine. He was just tired, guys. But yeah, this version of ray tracing runs pretty well to the point where even a 5060 can run it at native 1440p, as you can see. 47, 48 FPS, dropping to about the same levels as maximum settings. We haven't seen Bob yet, though. That worries me a little bit. What is that bastard up to? If you have a 1440p monitor with a 5060, it's going to perform okay in some games. Goodbye, Bob! I mean, it's not terrible, the experience. I am fine with this, but there's something that we can utilize, and if you were paying attention previously, I told you about it. So it's DLSS4 on quality. So quality DLSS4 at 1080p didn't look all that impressive, but quality DLSS4 at 1440p looks basically like the native resolution stuff. Even the reflections are still high quality here. But this way, with quality DLSS4, we can have 100 plus on average instead of 69. I don't like that. I wish we could have 69 average, 69 1% lows. That would be such a perfect experience, actually. And also, it would be an around like 15% faster. Yeah, 15% faster experience in terms of refresh rate than 60 Hz. Imagine 69 Hz monitor, my friends. I don't have the funds or the knowledge to make it happen anyways, but maybe if we grow to a size of a Linus Tech Tips, one day I can make that happen instead of a screwdriver. Yes? I'm kidding. Anyway, let's keep on going. This is a very slow car, unfortunately. It's probably because it doesn't have a 69 in the license plate there. But it is working. It's trying to go faster and faster. Oh, boy! Seriously, I'm sorry about the driving skills, guys. You're used to it at this point. Where am I kidding? It's never going to be good, right? I don't know what you expect. Oh, boy! Okay. Anyway, have we seen Bob's bushes already at 1440p DLSS quality? I don't think so, because those 1% lows are still really good. So I'm just gonna go there right now. Get out! Oh my gosh, stop! It's not all my fault, always, okay? People just start turning in front of me without blinkers. They don't check their mirrors, they don't use their blinkers. I hope that in GTA 6 they start using their blinkers. Although, if it's accurate to real life, they probably won't. But still, especially if they are BMW drivers, right? Also, let me know if you have a BMW. Did your car come with the blinkers DLC? As you can see, no problems whatsoever here. Dropping into the 70s sometimes, but that's completely fine once again. Absolutely great experience here at 1440p with quality DLSS4. So next thing to do is go up to 4K resolution. And this is where I think we're gonna start having problems. Because if we use the LEA, that video memory tab over there in the bar, it becomes red. So it might run out of VRAM, and it might stutter because of it. I'm still gonna apply this. So we're gonna play at 4K native resolution next. Yep, I just loaded this save game and look at that. 13 FPS, this is because of the VRAM. Even though the VRAM allocation there is at 7 gigabytes-ish, you know, so it's not maxing out. It already did max out and it swapped things into the RAM because the RAM usage is now a lot higher than it was before. That's what happened. Since it needed to drop things from VRAM into RAM, and the RAM is so much slower than VRAM, this is the end result at 4K max or very high settings, very high ray tracing setting, whatever. Ray tracing also consumes VRAM, of course, so that's another issue, consuming more VRAM. If this card had 10 gigs, at least 10 gigs, it could be a recommendation for $300, but with its current 8 gigabyte version, no. So quality DLSS brings the VRAM usage down, of course, and now that results into 30 FPS, so almost double, more than double the FPS that we were seeing before. That's quite nice. So now it could be playable, but obviously getting 30 FPS around here means that in Bob's bushes it would drop from 30 FPS and it would become a pretty bad experience. So this is still not great for 4K, and I think if you are playing at 4K resolution, what you should utilize is performance DLSS. This brings the bar, the VRAM bar, to the yellow, which was what we were seeing at 1080p and 1440p with the settings that we used. And this renders the game at 1080p and upscales it to 4K. And that results, of course, in a heck of a lot more performance. As you can see, 60s now. That's really good. Feels smooth again. And also the VRAM isn't an issue anymore. And the visuals, since it's DLSS4, they still look really good. It doesn't look shimmery, it doesn't look noisy at all, maybe over there. No, it's just the depth of field, actually. Yeah. It looks really nice, so I would have no problems playing this game like this. I'm just gonna reset the entire thing, quit the game, restart, so the RAM allocation can also go back to normal, because it's staying at 16 gigabytes now, it should be at around 13, 14. Okay, here we go, guys, right around 69 FPS average again. I don't even know why this number follows me so much, but I mean, this car has 69 in its license plate. This car... This is not on purpose, all right? This is not on purpose. Look at that. Yeah, it's a 690, but it's 69 there. I mean, what are the odds? This weather is quite nice, but if I make it rain, I think it will start dropping. So as usual, with the normal rainy weather, it is actually performing better. I don't know, it's probably because of the lack of lighting coming from the sun. But if I do this a couple more times... Oh, there we go. That's it. Clearing weather. This is what gets a little bit more intensive. So instead of like 70 FPS or closer to it, we drop about 10% of FPS, you know? So this weather is about 10% slower in performance than the previous weather is. Also, in terms of ghosting with this car, it's basically non-existent. Alright, this is pretty good. What we're seeing there below the car is the reflection. Have they fixed the ghosting? Maybe what I was seeing before was just the reflection of the car and not ghosting, and they have fixed the ghost. What are you doing? I just want your car, buddy. Thank you very much. This one has a low license plate, so we might be able to see a bit of ghosting there. I'm really not sure, guys. No, not really. Did they fix it? But it was quite apparent previously. I'm pretty sure it was ghosting with the other car. Anyway, it will depend on the vehicle that you utilize. But if it's this hard to tell that it is ghosting, it doesn't matter, really. It's just me nitpicking. Anyway, 68 FPS average, almost 69. Over here, it's dropping into the 50s already. I mean, it is what it is. It's 4K resolution. I mean, 4K visuals, not actual 4K resolution because of the upscaling that we're using here. Oh my god, this is so slow. This car sucks. Okay, it was just broken. Okay, there we go. I just fixed it now. The bottom line is this game does run, it can run at 4K visuals with an RTX 5060 with DLSS4's help, of course. If it had frame generation, it would be pretty cool as well. Rockstar, please fix it. But not fix it. You don't need to fix it. You just need to introduce it into the game. That would be pretty cool to see in GTA 5, actually. Frame gen would bump things up probably into the 90s, 100s. So please, Rockstar, make it happen. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. That's been it for this one. I wouldn't really drop it down from very high settings in the search of 60 plus FPS all of the time, because the very high RT settings with those high resolution reflections do give you the best visual to performance ratio in this game, and the high RT settings, because there's still a high ray tracing settings preset, that starts looking a lot worse. So with all of that said now, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one very soon. As always, love you all. Bye-bye.